Salad, and I saw The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. It is directed by John Ford, and if you haven't seen this movie, I will spoil it for you. The movie starts for following Ransom. He is a politician, and immediately I'm like, bro, I wouldn't trust you at all because your name is literally Ransom, and he's shorthanded for Rams, and I'm like, bro, I feel like you're going to rob me or something, man. Like, bro, chill out. Of course, he's a big politician. It seems like a lot of people love him, and we get to hear his story. We get to hear the story from when he first was a wee little lad outside of law school, and he got ransacked by this gang who stole all of his stuff, who stole all of the things from the passengers, released like 2 horses, which was incredibly rude. I personally don't quite understand why he would do that to just this guy. Maybe because he just wanted it to hurt. He wanted to make sure that he knew, that freaking Ransom knew who Liberty Valance was, and I'm just like, this is how you make an enemy for life, man. Liberty Valance must have a ton of enemies. He sucks, man. I wouldn't be friends with him at all. I feel so bad for Ransom. Even it's like pulling apart some of the pages in the law books. I'm like, oh man, that's gonna be terrible to try to put back together. He's all bloodied up, and I'm like feeling terrible for him. Oh my goodness, how much head trauma does he have? I'm like, someone take care of this poor old man, and someone does. And I'm grateful for those people. It seems like they have a nice little kitchen going. We meet this nice little lady. She's cute. We also got this Swedish chick. Both of them don't know how to read, and he's like reading and doing dishes at the same time. And I'm like, maybe you should separate the job with learning, because I feel like it would be hard to do both at the same time, properly clean dishes and properly take in law knowledge while you're doing dishes. Like, multitasking is definitely very hard. This little lady gets really offended though when he's like, hey, can you read this? And then she's like, I don't know how to read. And he's like, you don't know how to read? I'm like, oh geez, yeah, this is the Wild West. Education wasn't as widespread as it was. I definitely take the ability to read for granted. Like, I was taught as a young lad, and everybody else around me was being taught around me how to read. And so I was just like, you know, reading is just commonplace. But then like I encounter a movie where we have somebody who doesn't know how to read. I'm like, oh wow, okay, can they be taught? And they can be taught according to Rand's, and I really like his optimism. In exchange for lodging and boarding at this kitchen, he works the dishes, and he's like, I have to work the dishes even if people are telling me to otherwise stop doing the dishes. Man, I really like that about his character. He's like noble, he's sticks to his word, he doesn't back down, and I really like that. We meet Tom, and I like Tom. He is very like upstanding, he's very strong as a man. He's the only one that can go toe to toe with Liberty Valance in the entire town. And I like his position on, hey, you always gotta carry yourself a gun because this is how we solve conflicts in the Wild West. And I also like Rand's position. He's like, I don't think I need any sort of gun to solve conflict. We need law and order. And I think both of them are right. I think this movie heavily represents the changing times from the Wild West to the civilization that with the civilized law and order. And there's a lot of proof for that later in this movie. But this is the earliest showing of the new movement, the new law and order movement. I really like the scene where we have Rand's delivering steak to Tom, and Liberty Valance just can't help himself and do a little tripping and get the steak all over the floor and all the food, and I'm watching this like, no, that's such a waste of food, man. That could have gone to somebody else. It could have gone to the person wanting the food, which was Tom. And of course, Tom is like, yeah, I gotta defend myself. This is a personal attack because it was my steak that you're messing with. And it seemed like they're about to do a whole gun battle. But I do really like Rand's a lot. He's like, I'm just gonna pick up the steak, y'all. It don't matter that much, okay? I don't want any lives lost over this. We got two conflicting morals throughout the entire movie, using a gun or not using a gun. I don't know if that's technically morals, but it's definitely a solution to problems, two different ways to solve a problem in the Wild West. But I also do like we have Rand is now teaching people how to read. He's teaching classes, and of course these classes get interrupted, but everybody's like interested in learning. I really like this. I like how everybody's like super interested in the future, and it seems like there's a lot of adults in this learning how to read class, but there's a bunch of children too, which makes sense because that's would be who we were learning how to read, honestly. I mean, I learned how to read when I was a child. I also do like the adults learning how to read. It gives me hope. It makes me think, oh, adults can learn after all. Also, there's like values outside of somebody's smartness. Like, you got a compassionate woman over here, and she's very attentive to the customers that she serves, and she knows all the regulars, including the stuttering guy, which I noticed this guy was stuttering, but because she knew that guy so well, and she knew his order, she just completed the sentence. He was like, yeah, confirmed. And I'm like, amazing. So there's like different values to people outside of just smartness and knowing how to read. Liberty Valance just keeps roughing up everything, including now we got a bunch of people being convinced to vote by Rand, and I do like how Rand is like nominated to be the guy who holds the meeting. Is like he has a little gavel thing, which I really like a lot. It's a great way to get attention. Valance is like, oh hey, I want to be elected, and nobody chooses him except for like his two hench boys. They're like, get wrecked. No one likes you here. Everybody loves Rand, man. Tom rejects, outright refuses his nomination. I'm like, man, you could have been so great. You got nominated and you rejected it. And I was partially expecting him to be like, all right, well, clearly I gotta deal with freaking Liberty Valance over here, the upstanding citizen that he is, disrupting everything. Man, I thought he was gonna step up. But honestly, it didn't really seem like that. They just kind of rode away. Liberty Valance challenges Rand. Yo, you're going to leave town, or we're going to do a little 1v1v PvP with them guns of ours. And I'm like, okay, I'm not sure exactly what Rand is going to do. He's been anti-gun this entire time. I'm honestly hoping for him at this point to step up and be like, hey, I gotta protect my peeps. I gotta stay here. Because if Liberty Valance is still here and I'm not, then these people are going to be terrorized, or at least that was my read on it. I like the whole preparation of, yeah, I'm just gonna, have a chill time. Unfortunately, Liberty Valance just ruins the entire newspaper place, and I'm like, this is so rude, man. He's just doing newspapers, and it's because he keeps printing negative things about you. Well, if you don't want negative things to be printed about you, maybe you should consider being nicer to people, okay? The reason why everybody hates you, nobody wants to elect you, is because you treat everyone like dirt. You push people out of their spots in restaurants, you threaten them with guns, and then you eat their food. And then you fully expect people to like you after that? Dude, what is wrong with you? What? Man, I don't understand Liberty Valance at all. Like, I feel like if he wanted more out of life, he would be able to get more out of life just by being nice to people. Oh my goodness. And I'm like, hats off to Rand, man. He's immediately got favor with all them homies in this town, which I really like, because, you gotta be a lawyer guy. He's totally on the side of peacefulness, but there's one instance he's like, all right, I gotta go stand up against Liberty Valance. Let me grab my gun. And he has been shown to be a terrible shot. I do like showing that Tom is showing Rand how to shoot a gun, and he's terrible at it. And so when he eventually goes up against Liberty Valance, I'm like, how is he gonna shoot him? And somehow he shoots him, or appears like he shoots him, and then he gets a little pew 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 action going on because frickin' Liberty Valance, before he gets shot by the good old pal Rans, he shoots his arm, which is terribly rude. Like, now he can't do anything for months, man. I mean, I know you have no consideration for people, you only care about yourself, but still, I felt that. I was like, oh, you might have hit her artery. I don't know anything about the human body. Can you bleed out quickly from this stuff? Let me know in the comments below. Liberty Valance go dead, and I'm like, okay, I first initially thought that he was hurt because a bunch of people crowded around him and they're like, oh, is he hurt? And I'm like, clearly he's dead, but by your dialogue, maybe he's like doing a little bit of breathing. And then another shot of him being dragged onto a little cart and with the guy with the shovel. I'm like, he's clearly dead. Okay, I love this, and everyone's like hooting and hollering, celebrating because everybody has hated Liberty Valance. He's been the most terrible dude in town. Now he's gone, and it's all thanks to Rans. And now everybody thinks that Rans shot him, and I honestly thought that too. It's so convincing. It is incredibly convincing. We also got this like nice little, hey, we got who are we going to elect as a delegator, and I'm like, okay, please elect Rand. I would love that. We got his political opponents be like, you shot a man. And he's like, I did shoot a man. I gotta go walk out. I gotta go back to the east. But Tom is there. I honestly thought that Tom had a gripe against Rance because, you know, Rance took his girl. But I really like how Tom is there to be like, I shot him. Here's actually what happened. And then it's a nice little flashback, and it shows that Tom had a nice little rifle, which I think would do a lot more damage than a handgun. Personally, I'm no guns expert, but you know, the bullets look bigger, so bigger damage. In theory, this eases up Rance. He's like, all right, I can go back in, people could be cheering for me, I'll accept the nomination. And then that's where his political career started, and the beginning and the very end of the movie tie together because it's now in the present. I do like how they go to that Tom's place at the very beginning. I was like, which place is that? And then in the movie it shows that Tom burnt it down, and then he started working on it eventually before he died, and now they're there to honor Tom's death. And I'm like, man, I'm so sad that Tom is dead. I would like to learn more about what he did with his last few years of his life, on top of trying to repair that room that he burnt down that one drunken night. It's a very sweet ending, and I like the train track ending, and I'm like, I like it so much. And it's like at the end, and the end is on the train tracks. I'm like, this is a great Western. I'm glad that I watched it. Man, I really like the camera movements. I like how still the camera is until there's a bunch of actors on it, and then the camera follows the actors, and I love the acting, and I love all the shots. I love all the, what is it called, a kitchen saloon thing? I just love all the sets. I don't care what they're called. I just love it all. It's such a great movie. Oh man, and also I really want that cactus plant thing now. So because of how much I love this movie, I gotta give this movie like a solid 8.9 out of 10. If you like this review, watch another one. YouTube really likes that. You can fast track a movie review for $20 Redino at patreon.com/ASEPresents. And if you'd like to help support the daily grind of all them daily movie reviews, go to this link tree, find the way you can help support the daily grind of all them daily movie reviews. And until next time, mint salad, I'll see you later, my side croutons, bacon bits.